Well, I think the first thing is probably he's going to get a new SEC chair. Someone else who is not going to be quite so hostile to the industry, isn't going to sue all of the best companies in the space. And I think on that question is just what happens to all these lawsuits and threats of lawsuits. Do a lot of settlements happen? Do they just get thrown out? Because these companies need to know that they can move forward. So I think that's the first thing. He's also said he wants all the Bitcoin to be mined here in the U.S. That might be a tougher task than he can pull off, but maybe get some more of it here. So that would probably please the American miners.
Yeah, indeed. We might see a lot more bathhouses like we've seen in Brooklyn pop up.
That's right.
Instance. Yeah, exactly. All these things considered, it seems like there was a growing bipartisan move as well to create a Bitcoin reserve. What's the reality that we see both sides of the aisle actually come together over that?
Yeah, the Bitcoin reserve. I don't know. That's a really interesting question. I mean, as Trump pointed out, they could start it really easy by just not selling all the Bitcoin that they have. Will they start to buy more is, I think, a much larger question. That's super risky. But yeah, folks on both sides of the aisle are at least tentatively interested in doing it. So I guess we'll just have to see. But it looks likely that the U.S. at least isn't going to sell the Bitcoin that it seized for some time.
Brady, it's so interesting and a great point that Brad brought up just about the fact that we saw bipartisan support, it seems like, from Harris and also obviously from Trump when it comes to the future of crypto within the country. I'm curious then, why are we seeing such a surge this morning under a Trump victory? Talk to us a little bit more about that correlation.
Well, Trump was the only one that was really clear about it. I mean, Harris only spoke to cryptocurrency one time at one speech, and it was really vague. Whereas, I watched Trump in Nashville say, Bitcoin's going to go to the moon if you elect me. That's a much clearer statement, And so I think that's really it. He said things that he will and won't do, whereas we never got that from Harris. So markets like certainty, and they like that they've given him answers ahead of time.
Do you think the crypto market's confident, though, that he's going to follow through on those promises? Because that's a whole nother question, right? Just how realistic some of those promises are.
I think they're confident. That doesn't mean they're right, but I think they're confident.
Yeah, anybody that says that they're going to send something to the moon, I mean, many people would largely question if they single-handedly could do it or enact policy. So it's going to come down to other elements of the businesses that you were mentioning as well that are looking to scale up and make sure that they can woo potential crypto investors and holders in the future. It's going to come down to potentially the utilization. Is there anticipated to be any major movement in utilization of crypto, which would perhaps give it more of commonplace within the transaction vernacular for many people who don't already engage with it?
Well, I mean, around the world, it is being used more and more all the time. I mean, there's tens of trillions of dollars of volume in stablecoins, which are hands down, the most successful product that the crypto world has made. And if the United States, passes some laws making it clear how stablecoins can be used and how they can be deployed by U.S. banks, that only is going to send that market higher. So I think this idea that no one's using it is a little bit of a misunderstanding here in the U.S. We're not using it, right? But a lot of folks around the world are actually using this technology, and I think it's going to sneak up on us and it's going to be everywhere pretty soon.
But a central bank coin versus using what is the largest market cap coin in Bitcoin, I mean, isn't that starkly different than in trying to boost the value of Bitcoin versus boosting the value or the usability or fungibility of some of the digital currencies that are U.S. or even any type of central bank backing as well?
Oh, well, a central bank currency is a whole different question. I was just talking about stablecoins, so like privately issued stablecoins. I think, and that's going to move a lot more quickly than big central bank digital currencies. That's a big question mark out there.